Okay, so I've been playing for quite a while, probably since this game got out of beta. And you know what? Ever since then, people would always get upset about how many formers you put into your Warframe. And if you don't know about the Forma count just keeps going up every time you add a former to it. Let me just show you mine. I wonder if it will. I wonder if it will show here. It shows 8 former here, and it's kind of treated as a mark of shame. The more formers you have in a warframe, the more noob you are, and the less formers you have, the more professional you are. You're great. You can get you can min max your build, and you've done it in the most optimal amount of former, and you're a superstar. But it really means nothing. I mean, let's take a look at this guy, for instance. You can only get him once, and these warframes, they go through quite a lot of changes over the years, and when they do, you need to reform them again because maybe range isn't that important, maybe duration isn't that important, maybe strength is a no go. So you'll may need to reform your frame to get the right polarities in there and make a good build. Let's take a look at Frost, for instance. Frost has let's see here. I mean, my Frost has 12. That's a lot. But I've had Frost Prime since he came out. So, what, 2014? And he used to be a lot different back then. I mean, the snow globe used to be invincible, and then it wasn't. And, some of his abilities have gone through multiple iterations, before now. I mean, even back then, they didn't even have arcanes. So you made your builds based on, maybe I would have wanted more efficiency or more energy because they didn't have arcane energize. I mean, the corrupted these corrupted ones didn't come out. They weren't there from day one. All this stuff kind of came out slowly, and then you just changed your build as you went. I mean, rolling guard wasn't there, so back in the day, you would have to have all these old steel fiber redirections and vitality for survivability, which you don't need anymore. And I'm not. I don't want to criticize anyone who hangs on to, you know, who's quite proud of having a low amount of former. Good for you. But just know that just because someone has a lot of former doesn't mean they're a noob. Well, I mean that's up to at least let someone play first before you make a judgment on them. But yeah, I mean, of course, everything's going to have tons of former in them, and I suspect somewhat that I think maybe there's somewhat some jealousy there, because former somewhat behind a minor paywall is that you need platinum to get them, and if you say, well, no, actually I farmed them, it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always that easy to get. They've just kind of, as this game's gotten older, they've kind of, relaxed restrictions, made things more obtainable. For instance, you can get, you can get, you know, these as, offerings. There was a time where you just couldn't get that. You needed to buy one with platinum. There was just no way around it. I mean, you had to wait for a special alert to happen where you could get one for free, but there was a time where you could not, you could there was a time that you could not get that. And you take a look at all these guys, the former to the nines. I mean, and you know what, former means nothing to me. It really does. It really does it. If I need to, do something again. Look, Volt Prime, so many. I mean, for some of these, Yeah, man, I do use a lot of Forma actually. But I mean, I didn't use one for Limbo Prime. He just kind of came out with all the right ones from the get go. So, it's just kind of just an interesting thing to talk about, is because you know it really means nothing. It just means it's just a counter for how many times you change your polarity in your Warframe. Yeah, you have to spend a Forma to get it, and that upsets some people, for the strange reason of you know oh, you're a noob for buying one. I don't know, but apart from that, you're just really just as time goes on, you really have to change your build up. Sometimes you may even be maybe I'm a fan of Frost Prime, and in the start I could only fill them up with garbage mods, and I had the former at the time, and then eventually I got access to better mods, um, so that may be the reason. But anyways, for whatever reason, it really doesn't matter to me how many former you got. But anyways, if you wanna, if you guys, if you have any perspective that you want to share on what you think about formers, please do. But yeah, that's just my daily, thing of thought this week was just about the Warframe um, former situation. Cool. Bye.